a program used to create vector graphics as opposed to pixel-based graphics. Here we have open an Illustrator file called l1start.ai. And before we look at the workspace, let's go into the Help menu and look at the Welcome screen, which opens when you launch Adobe Illustrator. The upper left quadrant shows files that have been opened throughout the day, and the lower left and lower right quadrants basically take you to various websites. The upper right quadrant allows you to create various kinds of Illustrator files, including a print document or web document. So let's close the Welcome screen and look at the workspace. Up here at the top, we have various drop-down menus. And below that, the application bar, followed by the control panel, and then the title bar, which shows the name of our document. Then we have a horizontal ruler, and over here on the left, we have a vertical ruler. Next to that, we have the vertical tools panel, and over here on the right, we have various other panels organized into groups. For example, at the top, we have the layers panel, the links panel, and the appearance panel. In the center of our window, we have the artboard, and around the artboard, the canvas. Now, an Illustrator file can have from 1 to 100 artboards, and an artboard can be anywhere from 1 inch square to 227 inches square. Now, we chose this workspace by going under the Window menu to Workspace and choosing Like InDesign, so it looks familiar to us who use the Adobe InDesign program. In this case, we see one artboard, but if we were to go under the View menu to Fit All in Window, we would see that this particular Illustrator file has 4 different artboards. Around each artboard, we see a red guideline, which indicates the bleed area. And artwork that extends into the bleed area gets trimmed off when the piece is printed on paper that is larger than the size of the artboard. If we go into the File menu to Document Setup, we see the 1/8 of an inch bleed area is indicated here. Also, it is possible to apply pixel-based effects within Adobe Illustrator. And if we do, and the piece is intended for print, we should change the resolution to high resolution. Also, we can edit artboards. We can move artboards and change the size. Hit the Escape key to exit. In the lower left-hand corner, we have Artboard Navigation. We can look at the front of the brochure and the business card, the postcard, and the inside of the brochure. Going back to the View menu to Fit All in Window. Taking another look at the Layers panel, we see this document has 4 layers, and objects created on the layer at the top of the Layers panel are in front of objects created on layers farther down. Also, in the Links panel, we see that 3 Photoshop files have been imported into this document, and each one has been embedded, indicated by the icon on the right. Looking at the Swatches panel, we're viewing the color swatches by small list view. But if we click on the Menu button in the Swatches panel, we can change the view to small thumbnail view. And here we can see that some of the colors are organized into folders. Moving over to the Tools panel, some of the tools have a black triangle next to the tool, and this indicates there are hidden tools associated with that tool. If we go to the end, we can tear off that tool panel and have a separate floating tool panel with the tools related to the rectangle tool. Currently, we're looking at this document in preview mode as indicated in the title bar. We can see objects filled with color and objects stroked with color around the edges of the object. We can see open paths and closed paths. But if we go to the View menu and switch to Outline mode, we see only paths, no fill color and no stroke color. We can work in Outline mode, but usually we work in Preview mode. And we can use the keyboard shortcut to toggle back and forth between the two, Command Y on a Mac or Control Y on a PC. Let's navigate to Artboard number 1. And we can zoom in and zoom out using the keyboard shortcuts Command minus on a Mac or Control minus on a PC to zoom out, and Command plus on a Mac or Control plus on a PC to zoom in. Now we're not changing the size of the artboard, just zooming in and zooming out. And we can use the shortcut Command 0 on a Mac or Control 0 on a PC to fit Artboard in window. If we look in the lower left-hand corner, we see we have a wide range of magnifications from about 3% to 6400%. Let's select the Zoom tool by using the keyboard shortcut, the letter Z. With the plus sign in the Zoom tool, we can click and drag around an object, and we see a dotted line which forms a marquee around the object so that when we release the mouse key, we zoom in to that object. Add the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC to get the minus sign inside the Zoom tool and click to zoom out. Let's use the keyboard shortcut to get the grabber hand, the letter H, and we can move the page back and forth, very much like using the scroll bars. Let's go back to the Select tool, the black arrow, by using the keyboard shortcut, the letter V as in Victor. Now we'll go into the Window menu and show the Navigator panel. And in the Navigator panel, we have a red box, which is the proxy preview area. And as we move the red box around, it's like using the grabber hand and moving from one artboard to the other. Also in the Navigator panel, we have a slider, which allows us to slide in and out, and two buttons on either side of the slider to zoom out and zoom in. If we wanted to make a separate workspace, which included the Navigator panel, we could go into the Window menu to Workspace and choose Save Workspace. Then we give it a name, such as Navigator, and click OK. Then, when we go into the Window menu to Workspace and switch back to like in Design, we see the panels are all reset, but we can go to Window, Workspace, and choose Navigator, and now we have that custom workspace with the Navigator panel out.